What's going on, everybody? Doc from Average Gamer Guys back yet again. More Destiny 2 action, and as we always get with the weekend, we get a new weekend. We get a new Xur. So we're gonna hop over. We're gonna jump over to Titan. We're gonna do as we always do. We're gonna take a look at the equipment that he's dropping for us this week, and I'll give my honest opinions on it. I don't hold back. You guys know me if you've watched the channel, if you've seen these before. You definitely know I'm going to give it to you straight. So hopefully everybody's having a great start to their weekend. Hopefully, I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen the gear yet. I'm doing this 100% live, having not seen it. And I hope the gear is good. Last week was pretty much a huge letdown. I try to always find the silver lining and find a few things that might be pretty good. But overall, last week was a pretty big letdown. And this week we're going to hop in, we're going to take a look, and hopefully we get some good stuff. Interestingly enough, TwitchCon, when I was recording this, I actually got a chance to watch in on TwitchCon a little bit. And they had a Destiny 2 panel, and they talked quite a bit about what's coming in Season 2 for Destiny. So I'm not going to really spoil anything here. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing, but there's some pretty exciting news. I know there's some new faction rally stuff coming in. I know there is actually just quite a bit of stuff that they're dropping in. We're gonna see some return of some events. We're gonna get some new events from what I understand as well, and I'm really looking forward to it. So it's gonna kind of spice up Destiny. I'll be honest. I've got 2 characters max at 305. I need to start my 3rd, and that's just gonna be something else that I'll look forward to bringing in and really being able to do, to be honest. I think some freshness with some of the stuff is going to be really good, and some of the stuff that I saw that they're bringing in, I'm really, really excited for. So we will cover all that in a separate video, so stay tuned to the channel for that. This is a good plug time for me, I guess. If you are new to the channel, please do make sure to subscribe, like, comment, do all that great stuff. Really helps the channel out. If you've been watching the channel for a while, we really do appreciate the support. We've got a cool community here. Love chatting with you guys in the comments, so keep all that stuff up. And like I said, just love hearing what you guys think and chatting with you. So we got Xur. Here we go. Let's see what we got. We got the Sweet Business. Sweet Business. Auto rifle, interestingly enough. And I'm going to just buy that, kind of on accident. But I am going to get it because I don't have it. This is interesting. This is not one that I know what this is. I've seen this before. I've been killed by it before. Never actually honestly had it. So interestingly enough, it's a Gatling gun style weapon that actually the fire rate increases the more you go. The first thing I always look for, weapon attack mod. That's always good. Got to have that, which is nice. It has a large magazine, increased accuracy when firing from the hip. So interestingly enough, that's kind of an interesting statistic there. Barrel optimized for recoil reduction, increasing stability, pretty good. Shots from this weapon knock the target back farther, slightly increases range, also pretty good, good trait to have. Holding down the trigger boosts this weapon's range and rate of fire and automatically loads ammo pickups into the magazine. So that's pretty good. This is one of those weapons, I've seen it in PvP, not a ton, but people do use it. It takes a little while to get cranked up. Like I said, it's basically a Gatling gun where you got to crank it up, you got to start firing it, and then as you fire it, the more continuous you fire it, obviously the higher the rate of fire is going to be. I did not know the fact that it automatically loads ammo pickups into the magazine. So this actually might not be too bad. We might have to try this out. We might have to bring this into PvP and just give it a whirl and see how it goes. The fact that you can hip fire this with increased accuracy and then really rank up the rate of fire as it goes is pretty interesting. And then finally we've got the composite stock, which is going to increase our stability as well as our handling speed. So overall, one, it does look really cool, but overall impact not too bad. Range just shy of halfway. Stability not too terrible either. Handling reload speed are pretty bad, but the fact that we were shooting out 360 rounds per minute with a 99 round magazine is pretty good. So like I said, we'll test this one out. I'm kind of on the fence on this one. Like I said, I've seen it, but I've also seen people get destroyed when they have it, when they kind of get somebody gets the jump on them, starts shooting first, because it takes a little while to get this thing rolling. However, if you are firing and maybe you get a team kill for the first one and you can kind of transition from one enemy to another while you're still holding the trigger down, you're going to have pretty good success. You're probably taking them down just for the sole fact that the rate of fire is pretty good once it gets rolling. So honestly, not too mad about this. One thing I haven't seen, I'm sure some of you out there do have it, so you're going to be like, I already got this. But overall, not the most terrible weapon, to be honest, for the week. So we get the Radon Flux. Some of you are probably pretty familiar with this. I do know I have this for my Hunter. Not the worst chest armor I've seen. If you are an Arc Staff user, you're definitely going to enjoy this because quick successive attacks with the Arc Staff is going to increase both its damage output and its duration. Duration honestly being the most important thing. Damage output, if you're getting hit with an Arc Staff, you're probably dying. But it is beneficial. This one seems to be pretty beneficial, not only PvP, but also PvE. Obviously, if you can continue to chain together your Arc Staff, really put some damage into some of the tougher bosses, Nightfall Strikes, raids, things like that would have some good use for us. Also, it does look pretty cool, I'll be honest. The shaders that you can throw on it, I like the way they've done kind of the center ribcage area for this, so it's pretty neat. You do, as always, get the chance to either increase resiliency or increase health recovery, so that's pretty good. And as you can see, if you do the recovery side of it, you're going to have a pretty mobile but also a pretty balanced piece of equipment, which again, as if you guys watched, that's what I look for. I look for balanced pieces of equipment. They're going to have a little bit in each statistic, and then obviously also allows the ability to kind of modify it so you can kind of mold your character to your playstyle and to what fits you the best. We do get the Arc Paragon mod, which is going to increase class abilities and let them charge faster using Arc subclass, which actually I'm usually not the biggest fan of this specific type of mod, but the sole fact that the armor perk plays off of the Arc Staff, this increasing your class abilities and allowing them to recharge faster is actually really good, because then your Radon Flux armor honestly keys in the best overall. So this is a pretty good combo for this. That's a good mod to have on this overall, and not a bad piece of armor overall for our Hunter that we're getting this week. Doomfang Pauldrons. Guys, we've seen this one before. I'm a little upset about this. We've seen this one, I think, 2 times before, if I'm not mistaken. So we're getting a little bit of rinse and repeat on some armor here. These are gauntlets for the Titan. Horns of Doom is going to be the intrinsic ability here, which shield bash, melee kills, recharge the shield throw. Melee ability kills, recharge the sentinel shield super. So if you're honestly, you have to really be tied in, kind of like we just saw with the Radon Flux. You have to be tied in using that specific class for your Titan, which is not necessarily a bad thing. The shield throw is actually pretty good in my opinion, and that class is decent overall. It's not the one I use preferably, but it definitely has its place, and people do use it. You get a relatively kind of unbalanced piece of equipment here. You can increase resiliency or health recovery. Either way, you're kind of going a little heavy in recovery or resiliency, which is not bad. And then we get the Void Impact mod, which again here makes sense for this piece of equipment. The fact that it plays off of melee abilities. This one allows your Void melee abilities to recharge faster, so you're essentially charging them faster to then boost the overall ability of this equipment. So it does make sense. Just not the biggest fan of these. I do think they look sweet. To be really honest, they look really awesome. They're a cool piece of gear. The fangs on them are really neat. They're cool. They're cool gauntlets. They got cool shoulder aesthetics. But overall, just not the biggest fan of the abilities on it, to be honest. I don't see a ton of people using these, and that's really honestly not surprising. So a little bit of a letdown here. I'm more let down by the fact that we've seen these, I feel like, at least once, if not twice. So we're getting a little bit of rehash. Now, Winter's Guile is actually something I know for a fact we have not seen yet. So that's pretty cool. These are for, obviously, the Warlock. You've got Warlord Sigil here for the intrinsic ability. Eliminating enemies with melee attacks increases your melee damage. Now, it's interesting with some of these. I don't know the statistics. I should look them up to see how long that lasts. Obviously, melee attacks are good. PvP especially, you're going to be able to get in some good damage, and that's going to be situational, but you're going to see that happen quite a bit. And then PvE, again, not the worst of abilities, especially if you are pretty heavy with the melee attacks or use them often. I know I personally use them pretty often myself. So not the worst ability we've seen, not terrible. Obviously for gauntlets, it seems to be focused around that kind of stuff usually. For the Warlock's got a pretty good melee for the most part, so that's kind of a benefit as well. And here we get the chance to either increase mobility or increase resilience, which again, you get a little bit of a lopsided piece of equipment here being heavy in the recovery. But you can kind of still modify it, obviously, which is what we like to see, at least I like to see, and kind of fit your character, either whatever gap they're missing or just to whatever your playstyle is. We do get the Energy Counterbalance mod, which reduces recoil for equipped energy weapon. I'm kind of 50-50 on these. If you don't have one of the specific mods that just throws +5 into a specific characteristic, whether it be mobility, resiliency, or recovery, this is probably my second tier that I do like to see. I prefer kinetic weapon. That's just my personal preference because I use my kinetic weapon probably more than anything else. But having the energy weapon and having the recoil reduced on that is pretty good. So for me, this is kind of a win as far as the mod is concerned. Obviously with these, it's nice that you can change these out. But you get a legendary mod on there, you get an extra defense, and it's not the worst one you could get. So overall, not too bad. Not the most impressive week that we've ever seen. I am going to acquire this because I don't have those. The rest of this, like I said, pretty cool weapon. We're going to definitely have to test this out. Some of the stuff I already have. I think the only big letdown really is the Doomfang Pauldrons, just because, again, I feel like we've seen them a few times. And they seem to drop pretty regularly too. I think, I've had a few versions of them. I definitely didn't buy them multiple times, so I know I've seen them a few. But overall, not the worst week. Definitely not like it was last week, in my opinion. So we get a pretty good set of stuff here to pick up, and again, we get a little bit of Season 2 news coming out, and we get a little bit of hype for what's in store for Destiny 2 in the future. So we're pretty excited for that. So with that, as we do, that's what we've got for Xur this week. Again, if you're not familiar, Xur comes in pretty early Friday morning, and then he will stay throughout the end of the weekend, ending either sometime late Sunday night or very, very early Sunday morning, or Monday morning. So you've got some chance. Get out there, grab some equipment. If any of this stuff looks good to you, like I said, a couple things to pick up that are probably worth it, that I would recommend. And it's always good to just keep the collection going while we've got this stuff in the game. So, like I said, stay tuned for some more Destiny 2 action and some more news coming out of the TwitchCon release. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of a summary type thing going for you. So if you didn't get a chance to catch it all, you can kind of tune in and see everything that's coming. So, Doc from Average Gamer, guys, as always, thank you guys so very much. Really do appreciate all the support to the channel. Hope you guys have a great weekend whenever you're watching this. And if you're watching it after, hopefully you had a great weekend as well. And yeah, just get out there, grab some equipment. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.